Kind of mother do I want to be? And what have I carried, often unknowingly, from my own mother into the way that I now parent? Welcome to Mothers Journeying Together. It's a 3-day retreat for mothers of daughters who want to parent with intention, with integrity, and connection. It's a space unlike any other, a chance to pause and reflect and gently explore the story of how you were mothered, the woman that you've become, and what you want to pass on to your daughter. Whether your daughter is 4 or 14 or 40, this retreat meets you where you are with honesty and care and the support of other mothers working a similar path. You don't need to have done anything like this before. Just bring your curiosity, your willingness, and yourself, just exactly as you are. And together we'll explore the patterns we've inherited and the ones we're ready to reshape. There's space for your questions, your grief, your joy, and your growth. This is time for you, time to listen to yourself more deeply, to mother not just your daughter, but also yourself, and to come home to the woman you're becoming. Led by me, Kim McCabe, and Helena Lervendal, this retreat is your invitation to pause and reconnect with what matters most and choose what to pass on. Book now for the early bird rate and bring a friend for a discount for you both. Your daughter doesn't need a perfect mother. She just needs a present one, a real one, a becoming one. You. We'd love to welcome you. We're here to introduce you to a 3-day retreat for mothers of daughters called Mothers Journeying Together. Helena and I created it and we also run it. And we just wanted to share with you some of what lies behind why we created it, what we're hoping to do with you on this 3 days, and also some of the bigger picture. So it started for me with a question. It was actually a question of myself. What kind of mother do I want to be? What kind of mother do I feel like I'm not managing to be? What am I carrying from my own experience of being mothered into the way that I'm now parenting? And am I really conscious and aware of how I'm doing that? And Mothers Journeying Together is a retreat for mothers of daughters who just want to parent with intention and integrity and with a sense of connection to themselves and to the mother line. It's just a chance for you to pause and reflect, and then also to gently explore the story of how you were mothered and the woman that you've become and what you want to pass on to your daughter. So it's for mothers of daughters, whether your daughter is 4 or 14 or fully grown, just to come exactly as you are with a sense of curiosity, a sense of willingness to explore what it means to be a mother today, what it means to be to you, to mother your daughter today. And together we'll explore where it is that you feel you need support, what that support might look like. You'll also be there in alongside many other mothers who are journeying alongside you with similar questions, but it's a time for you just to listen to yourself more deeply, to mother not just your daughter but yourself as well, and to come home to the woman that you're becoming. But first, I'd like to just start with the bigger picture. Why are we doing this? Why are we offering this to mothers?
I think that's probably where I come in, Kim, because of having chosen not to be a mother myself this time, working with women since early 90s, late 80s, 1980s, and having been in a role of a mother of two boys that since they were 10 and 11. So I have the mothering role, but not a biological mother. Where I come from is I am busy with the woman in the mother. I'm very busy with, I remember many years ago there was, I can't remember if it was a title or was just a woman who said it about the woman you call mother was silenced before you were born. And that there was a level where my interest for this work came in of being curious about how come that an important relationship like mother-daughter, probably one of the most important relationships, has had such a bad press that we end up feeling alienated from our mothers, alienated from our daughters, alienated from the mothering line, as you mentioned, alienated from the traditions of women, and alienated amongst ourselves as women, whether we are mothers or not. And considering that there's not a single person on this planet yet, at least, that hasn't been born by a woman, that isn't either a son or a daughter of a woman who is their mother, the lack of support, the lack of importance that is given to probably the most important role a woman can take in her life. Not because it is not important to do all the other things, but because as a mother, you are the first role model for your daughter. You are the one who is setting the tone for not only how to be or become a woman, how to relate to other women, how to relate to a mother, how you relate to your own mother, how you relate to men and the masculine, how you relate to your body, how you relate to food, nature. It is the feminine is the ground of all of existence. And at the same time, we don't like mothering is taken for granted. Left without childcare, left without payment for it. Like I'm Danish, that's where my accent is from. And in Denmark, even back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, we had childcare, 6 months paid. What do you call it? Leave for the new parent, and so it is. I know it is not just in England, but in England in particular, I was shocked when I first came to England to realize actually how low on the radar screen mothering is. Yeah. So there's a long, long story. But it's not just in our modern culture. It is going back a long, long time of the rift between mothers and daughters, the rift between women, that we are not supporting each other. We become competition. We see each other as somebody to be envious of rather than somebody that we're actually being supported by. And I am passionate about making women feel that we are absolutely sisters. We are different. We have different voices. We have different qualities. We have different strengths. But we have so much to give. The nurturing, the caretaking is super important. We are very good at it. Sometimes too good at it to the detriment of ourselves. And also because we're not being allowed to really take the ownership of who we really are as women, we end up later in our mothering not being able to mother our daughters as they grow and develop, because there are different stages. You know it yourself. We can talk much more about that, Kim. But a 4-year-old daughter doesn't need what a 14-year-old daughter needs, doesn't need what a 24-year-old, 34, 44-year-old daughter. But that relationship is still important all the way through. And she's constantly, if the connection is there, if it hasn't already been broken, then she's constantly looking to you. And as a mother, where do you get your support from? So our idea of doing this mothers journeying together after doing girls journeying together that you have been running for so many years, it was partly also what we realized is that the mothers who bring the girls to the girls journeying together, benefiting so much from the mothers meeting up in the groups along with that, that they actually, we just, mothers deserve to have a space for themselves to journey together. So that's what the invitation is that we are putting out to you. There is 3 days. We are not going to go to the depth of everything. We can continue more afterwards. We are going to just ask a lot of questions, open a lot of doors, hear a lot of stories, share a lot, explore what it's actually like to be a mother in today's world. And what is it that is needed for mothers to truly step in, to recognize and enjoy and have fun being a mother, yeah, and being amongst other mothers, yeah, and other women. So 3 days will fly by in no time. Mhm.
And lots of mothers worry about how can I possibly put down my load in order to give myself this 3 days. And in fact, I remember myself as a mother of three children wondering how I could go away and offer this retreat or offer other trainings that we do and leave my children because aren't I completely indispensable? And yes, many, many lists later, and having called in the support of many others, I did manage to leave my children, and fancy that. It turned out I was completely dispensable. They managed really well without me. But really importantly, I learnt to let go a little bit. And they learnt that the world was a safer place because they didn't need only me. There were other adults in their lives who were completely, perfectly capable and competent to take care of them. And I think often, well, certainly for myself, I was a very competent and capable mother. And so I carried a lot. And essentially, that disabled some of the other adults around in my children's life. So, whilst it was quite a challenge to come away and leave them, I can see that our whole family gained by it. Um,
And what a role model you are for your daughter to actually go off and do something for yourself.
yes, absolutely. And in fact, it's really interesting talking to the women that we have worked with over the years, how often their own children, whilst they might feel kind of like, don't leave me, it's like, go and do that. There's a real kind of push pull. They want this for us, but our girls particularly. I've worked for many, many years with girls. We train women to run girls groups, and one of the things we ask the girls is, what are you looking forward to about becoming a woman? And it starts off really kind of excited, like, I'm going to wear what I want, I will eat what I want, I'll go to bed when I want, I'll have as many pets as I like, I can go on holiday wherever I want to, I can have whatever friends. And then it starts to come in and also I'm going to need to take care of people and there's all the housework and the bills and I have to work as well as take care of the children as well as take care of the house and what's really interesting is how many of the girls say, I don't want to be like my mum.
Yeah. And that is sad.
Really sad.
And that reminds me of like, so I've been running Ways of Women since 1992, which is for women, not just for mothers, for women of all ages. And one of the things I've heard again and again and again when I ask the question, I say to the women, okay, describe to me the mother you always wanted but never had. And it is despite the culture, despite the age of the women, most of the time, 90% of the time, what comes down to, I wish my mom had had more fun. I wish that I had seen her happier. I wish that she'd gone dancing more. I wish that she had followed her career. I wish that she had time to play more and that the house was maybe not so clean and maybe we not always being on time with the food, but actually she was smiling more and feeling happy. Most of the time when I looked to her, she looked stressed. She looked burdened. I know she loved me. She worked really hard, but I always felt like if that's what it means to be a woman, that doesn't look very fun however much I know she loves me and stuff. So I think it's a really wake up call for us as women that our daughters don't need us to see us martyr ourselves. They actually need us to see enjoying it, enjoying being mothers. Because if not, they look to us, oh my God, I don't want children because look at the hard work it is. Your life stops. Mm.
But also, when our children see us not taking deep pleasure and a light enjoyment in mothering, they take it personally. Why would they not? They think it's because there's something wrong with them, that they're not good enough. And what parent doesn't want their child's self-esteem to be as full and as potent as it possibly could be? And yet, we so often don't make that connection between how we are as their parent. And this is not to put pressure on parents. There is no such thing as a perfect parent. Although, do you know what? I tried for a hard time to try and be one. but it's about recognizing that when we don't tend to our own needs and when we don't bring a lightness and a sense of enjoyment to our parenting, to our mothering, that our children are diminished by it. And so yes, you can fake it for a little while. You can hear this and think, right, okay, I'm going to be much more kind of fun and happy in my mothering. But if you're not genuinely, if you're not deep down fulfilled and supported, and you're not tending for your own needs or having them tended in some ways, then you can't really bring that to your parenting. You can't. Our children are so finely attuned to how we really are. It's, you know, it's like it's for their survival. They are really finely attuned. Who hasn't had a daughter call you out when you kind of think you're saying and doing one thing, and then she says, "But why are you like that?" And you kind of think, "I'm not."
Or
What?
when you give that cuddle like half-heartedly and they pull you back and say, no, I want a real cuddle. Yeah, yeah. No, I remember you told me that once, and it really stuck with me, Kim, that one is like they have bullshit detectors. Yeah, yeah. But I want to come back on something you just said because I have a lot of compassion for mothers who want to do it perfectly. Um, the intention is so good. It's real, it's genuine, it's out of love. Um, they want the best and better for their child. Um, and most of the time, what we forget is that, like, as a lot of time, we don't want to repeat what we had, or we want to learn from the mistakes that we feel that our parents didn't get right. So we don't definitely do not want to do it like them if we've had difficulties with our own parents, our own mother. And what we forget, what mothers forget, what parents forget, is that that child did not have your experience. You are not your mother. Yeah. So this is where the whole line between how do I mother myself and how do I mother my daughter is interconnected. And the perfect parent that we want to be for our daughter has more to do with sometimes the perfect mother we wanted for ourselves. But it's not easy to see the difference between the two. It's really not easy to see the difference. Uh, Not in oneself. I think it's much easier to see when somebody else is doing it. And it's one of the reasons that's so useful for mothers to come together and journey together. Not to like definitely like to compare stories, but more with a sense of, oh my God, you do that too. Oh God, I recognize myself. Oh, you suffer from that. Oh, you struggle with that too. Um, oh, you're fed up with that also. So there can be all kind of like tears and laughter and learning, and because we become mirrors to one another, we are not as different as we in our everyday life go around feeling that we are so different and isolated. But it's not until we actually come together in a circle that we come together and share honestly without any needing to be like as you always say to the girls, you're welcome just the way you are, you belong here just the way you are. And I think it's important that women and mothers hear that also. You're welcome in this space just the way you are. Yeah.
And there's nothing to prove.
No.
There really is nothing to prove. The very fact that you sign up for this retreat already shows that you care deeply, and really want to do your very best mothering that you ever possibly could. So there really is nothing to prove. And hopefully, you will find that you feel safe enough and brave enough to share how it really is. I've worked with hundreds of parents, and so often they say that the hardest thing is showing up at the beginning because we all have this fantasy that other parents are doing it better than us, no more than we do, um, and 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 are making fewer mistakes. When in actual fact, how often do we as mothers have a chance to just stop and pause and know what we know? So often we have the answers to our own mothering questions. You know, what do I do when? How do I handle this? What does my daughter need now? We do actually hold the answers to many of those questions, but we very rarely have the time and the love and support to be able to just stop and know what we know. And that can be so empowering. It can just make you feel so much more able as a mother that actually I can handle anything. We don't have to be prepared. I know for myself, I read all the books when my children were very little, and there's a lot of support for parents when your children are young. But it doesn't take long to get into kind of a sort of like a desert zone when by the time they're sort of 6, 7, 8 years old, there's not so very much to help guide and support you in your mothering. And then as your daughter goes into puberty, where so much is asked of you as a mother, so much different than what you've been asked of up until now by your daughter. But what training, what guidance, what support do we get? And that's where Rights for Girls was born, actually, is to support girls in that important transition because so many girls weren't getting what they really truly needed at that time. And then, of course, how do we guide our girls safely through the teen years? We have such, 1 in 4 girls by the age of 14 is self-harming, but it doesn't have to be that way. So what do we need to do as mothers to feel like we can do this? We've got this. You are the very best possible mother for your daughter. Now, today you already are, but when you take a moment to pause and think about it, you can become even more confident in your ability to be that.
I'm just so well listening to you, how easy it is to make it sound as if there's somewhere to get to, somewhere to improve. It's so hard to talk about these things to really get it across that it is what children really need, what your daughter really need is your authenticity. Now, that doesn't mean that she wants you if you're really having a bad day and you're really, really struggling. She does not want for you to cry on her shoulder. So the authenticity has to, of course, be age appropriate to the daughter. But the authenticity can only be there if you as a mother are, if you're supported yourself amongst adults who can handle the full force of either it is your anger, it is your grief, your sadness, your joy, your passion, whatever it is. We can handle the full force of it so that you can embody and incarnate that for yourself without having to either lean on your children or hide it from them. Yeah. Either feel that you're too much, so there's no room for you. And but whenever you're doing some of these things and inviting people to come and join you, um, it's hard to give a sense of like we are really not trying to put something new in, but like what you and I are pretty good at doing, and everything we're doing together, it's more that kind of thing of like we're helping people reveal themselves to themselves. Like what you're saying, mothers have the answers, but they might not always have been given the confidence to trust that they have the answers or to act upon what they know. Yeah. And that is what I think that women, we need to, by becoming mirrors, by sharing our doubts, our insecurities, our strengths, our passions, our experiences, by sharing it all together, we can build that confidence again that none of us are perfect when we take the first step. None of us are perfect when we take the last step. So it is about showing up with being real, not perfect. And to be able to be in relationship to your daughter, whatever, at the age appropriate manner, that depending on her age. But she needs your presence. She needs you to be in your body. Yeah. She needs you to be behind the eyes when you look at her, to be filling out your own skin. And all of those things, of course, go against what down the line as women we've been told. Like, don't be so full of yourself, don't speak so loud, you're being too aggressive, you're being whatever. So whatever we do in relation to those, whether we react to them and overdo it, or whether we believe them and shut ourselves down, whatever we do, our daughters are watching with hawk eyes at what we do. And they will either rebel against it or they will imitate what we're doing as mothers and women. Yeah. So for us to really take on the full spectrum of what it means to be a woman. And an important part of that is being a mother. But all the other aspects that you're adding on to being a woman is what actually gives the taste and the flavor and the nuance and the texture to the mothering that you give to your to your children, to your daughter. And I think that's really the space I want to invite women, to mothers, to come and get a much juicier sense of themselves as a mother.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because we want to be good adverts for womanhood. We want our girls to grow up kind of looking forward to becoming young women. And parenting was never supposed to be done alone. And when we come together, we feel so differently. We feel so much more able and capable when we're able to kind of actually trust ourselves more in what we already know. You're the world expert on your daughter. You've known her your whole life. It's just having the time to realize what you know. So we would love to welcome you to join us. If you are interested and want and you've enjoyed this conversation, this is the kind of thing. This is the sort of shape and the feel and the flavor of what we will be entering, the conversations we'll be entering into over the 3 days. If you want some more practical information, you can click on the button on our website to download the brochure. And of course, that's the same place that you can sign up and book your place. Numbers are limited just so that we can keep the group small and personal. But we would really love to see you. If this is called to you in any way, trust that and come and join us.